Ahead on NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
On this week's special edition of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman, a look at some of our favorite stories from Purina Animal Nutrition and how their programs can help improve herd health. NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman starts right now.
And now, a special edition of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman with host Kevin Oxner.
Hello and welcome to this week's special edition of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman. I'm Kevin Oxner. Thanks for joining us. This week, we're looking back at some of our favorite stories from Purina Animal Nutrition and how cattlemen across the country are benefiting from their mineral products. Let's take a look. The beef industry is very competitive. To succeed today and maintain strong profit potential tomorrow, you need to make sure your cattle are getting consistent mineral intake. Cattleman to Cattleman reporter Brian Baxter has more on why it's important to feed your cattle well-balanced mineral supplements.
Minerals make up a small portion of an animal's diet. However, they play a big role in health, growth, and reproduction.
If we aren't on a proper mineral nutrition program, we're leaving things behind, because minerals is one of the most important products that we need to have in a cow's nutritional program, but sometimes we always aren't utilizing the correct nutrition program or mineral program to make the cow to be its most efficient.
It's usually one of the first things that we see people cut in times of high input costs and things like that, when it really should be a time that they should be focusing even stronger on a mineral program.
Dave and Chad Reek are the co-owners of Reek and Lentz Show Cattle in Creston, Iowa, and they know firsthand the value of proper mineral nutrition. Recently, Dave and Chad made the switch to Purina Wind and Rain minerals. Wind and Rain is specifically designed to meet mineral deficiencies based on forage quality and cattle nutritional requirements throughout the year.
We tried different products, different companies, and a lot of the times we ended up, we'd go to the pasture not seeing the cows eating mineral. Since we did change to the Purina Wind and Rain minerals, the tubs, we've noticed that the cows like it. We can definitely tell that they're eating it, and obviously we can tell from our conception rates AI that they are eating it. It is helping them. The first thing that we saw from an AI standpoint is we had about a 15% increase in conception rates on our AI. So obviously we attribute a lot of that to the mineral, but not only the mineral, the rest of the Purina products we use as well.
Mineral is probably one of the most important things that you can do for or with your animals. For the first time in my career, I feel like my cows are actually getting all the mineral and all the trace mineral that they should be getting. And we only had it for about 6 months before we calved last year, and we could see an improvement in just the vigor of the baby calves and their ability to fight off stress and illness.
Buying poor quality minerals to save money can result in fewer calves, lower weaning weights, or other metabolic problems. Purina Wind and Rain minerals are uniquely developed to provide wind resistance, water resistance, consistent consumption, as well as fly control. Plus, the minerals are available in a variety of delivery options to suit the needs of every producer.
Now, when I talk about the different options, we usually have granular or tub. Now, I'm not saying that producers need to be on one or the other. We utilize them a lot of times in programs that when the combine is starting in the fall or the tractor and the planter in the spring, that we will bring tubs into the place so they're not having to worry about putting mineral out to cattle during other farming operations, and then we can go back to a loose mineral program during the other parts of the year when there's less need of that producer in the tractor or the combine.
Purina offers their loose mineral products in several different formulations in order to meet any producer's forage situation. This includes Wind and Rain Storm, which features the ultimate in weather resistance. That means more mineral in the feeder and more mineral available to your cattle.
The new Storm formula and demonstrations and research have showed that we have less degradation and more weather resistant or shed of water in the product, and with the wind standpoint, we're not having it blown away as we're dumping it in, because that mineral is slightly heavier and will go on into the feeder.
And some other questions I get is if it's so weather resistant, is it available when it gets into the animal system? And yes, it is. That's been researched and proven, and when it hits that animal's rumen, everything is digested and full nutrient release is available.
Wind and Rain is also available in a cooked molasses tub. This weather-resistant free choice tub helps to reduce producer costs associated with labor and equipment.
Oh, the tubs are simple. You know, you throw them in the pickup, go to the pasture, unload them, and the cattle are good. And the good news is the cattle like it. They consume it at the rate that they're supposed to.
The tubs are so convenient. Basically, we throw them in the back of the pickup, drive out to the cows, dump them out, and depending on the number of cows that are in that particular pasture, they'll last for an extended period of time. They're a solid product. They'll lick it and get what they need daily as they need it, and you never have any problem.
Purina is the industry leader in cattle research, and the staff at their 1,200-acre facility in Gray Summit, Missouri, works hard every day to better understand the nutritional requirements of beef cattle. That way, Purina can develop products and programs to fit your cattle and forage situations. Visitors to Gray Summit have witnessed these efforts firsthand.
Every feed company says they have research, and they can quote this state university and that state university, but when you go to the farm, you actually see it live, hands-on, explained by somebody who knows what they're talking about, and it really hits home, because you know, this is your livelihood. This is what you're trying to, this is how you're trying to make a buck.
Those things meant a lot to me, to know that there's an operation, that a company that is actually wanting to try those products out on their own stuff before they try and sell it to us as producers. I look at Purina and their representatives as people that truly care about your product and your operation.
We're extremely confident that our products and programs will bring benefits to those other producers, and I'm very adamant as not only a producer, consumer, customer of our products, that when I take something to the field, to those customers, that I can stand there toe to toe and tell them that these products are tried, tested, and I use them myself.
Consistent mineral intake is as vital to cattle as grass, water, or air, and Purina offers high-quality products that provide the mineral nutrition cattle need to succeed.
When you take a look at your mineral cost towards the total scheme of your operation, your cattle operation, your farming operation, it's a very minute cost for the return on investment you get on that cow.
I'm kind of the old dog. I probably should have come out of Missouri, because you have to show me. Well, they did. I really truly believe that the mineral has made the difference.
Reporting from Creston, Iowa, I'm Brian Baxter for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
You can learn more about all of Purina's products, including Wind and Rain minerals, at www.cattlenutrition.com, or of course, cattlemantocattleman.org. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
You're not responsible for the weather, just the cattle. And Rangeland works as hard as you do to deliver performance, production, and profitability. Cattle need consistent nutrition. They'll get it year-round with Rangeland products from Land O'Lakes. Deliver what they need free choice in weather-resistant loose minerals and mineral and protein tubs. Get the most out of your forage. See your Land O'Lakes Co-op for products that will stand up to whatever Mother Nature throws at us. Weather's coming in. Rangeland. Consider it done.
When it comes to versatility on your operation, nothing beats a John Deere D-Series skid steer. They're not only great for cleaning and feed chores, but with John Deere Worksite Pro attachments, you can tackle just about any job thrown your way. You asked for versatility, and John Deere delivered. These rock-solid machines are built to last. See your dealer today.
New Holland is smart for the way you farm. And New Holland round balers are smart for the way you raise cattle. By focusing on making the densest bale possible, New Holland round balers pack more into each bale, saving you time, fuel, and money. Now that's smart. We can also match your feeding requirements with a variety of bale slicing, cutting, and wrapping options to help maximize your time. Plus, with models designed specifically for silage or specialty crop harvest, New Holland gives you the power to make smart choices to fit your farm or ranch. You work hard to get the most out of every hay season to benefit you and your cattle. From mower conditioners to balers and tractors, New Holland has the right solutions to help you make quality hay and forage for your cattle operation. Visit your New Holland dealer to learn more about the complete lineup of New Holland equipment, in addition to all the benefits available to cattle producers.
Welcome back. Whether you're a rancher in the mountains of California or the rolling grasslands of Florida, you know that your cattle need the proper minerals to be healthy and profitable. But knowing that every single cow in the herd is consuming an adequate amount is where the challenge begins. Cattleman to Cattleman reporter Matt Fleck has more from Southeast Arizona.
In my era, if you were a boy growing up, that you wanted to be one of three things: a cowboy, a fireman, or a policeman. And I chose to be a cowboy.
Just 10 miles from the Mexican border, Guy Hudson is living out his dream as a cowboy by managing the Double E Ranch, a 20,000-acre commercial cow-calf operation. Guy has learned how to deal with the unique countryside over the years, but the historic drought created a whole new level of challenges.
Everybody's cattle numbers are down a little bit, and when your cattle numbers are down, you cut your cow herd a little bit and cut your supplement and those types of things, and because your cow numbers are down, you make less money, and your calves you don't have as many calves to sell, and you end up weaning them a little early because you want to protect your cow and help her to have her next calf, and it just financially is hard when we don't get the rain, especially in this Arizona desert.
The severe drought, mixed with a tough landscape, makes the need for mineral nutrition more important than ever before.
It was very difficult from the standpoint, we don't always have water available. We don't always have good pasture. Grass is always native grasses and browse, and so being able to keep your cattle in good condition, making sure that they have they cycle, that they have a good calf crop, that your calves that are weaned are a good wean weight. That's all really difficult for many of our ranchers out here across the state. It's just an unusual country.
The mineral program is going to be beneficial whether it's drought or it's raining, because these grasses in this country don't carry everything that a cow needs. They're always deficient in something. So when you feed a mineral program, it's going to pick up the slack that this range doesn't provide.
We also know that mineral it affects every aspect of a cow, from how she's going to lactate to how she's going to her reproductive side of that. It also affects energy metabolism, protein metabolism, and also the bacteria in the rumen also have those requirements. And so when we don't have those minerals and they are deficient, that whole cow is deficient, and she just can't be an efficient product out on that pasture to really utilize everything.
Guy has been using a mineral product from Purina Animal Nutrition called Wind and Rain to keep his herd healthy and profitable, and he says the results speak for themselves.
My conception rates have probably gone up 10 or 12%, and my weaning numbers have also, and it just pays for itself. The cows in the background here, they're in good shape for this time of year for the condition of the country, and I think mineral has a lot to do with that. I weaned an 88% calf crop this year in this drought condition, and for this ranch in this part of Arizona, that's as good as you can do.
Guy does a tremendous job with his cattle. He is thoughtful about the programs he wants to use. He is very in tune with what his cattle should look like, what the best management tools, and how he's going to maximize the resources he has to be able to get a better calf crop. He does a great job managing what could be construed as a very difficult environment to have cattle in.
People have come to help me work my cattle on this ranch, and they see the condition they're in, and they say they wonder why their cattle aren't in the same condition. And I think that a lot of my neighbors have started to use minerals because of the condition these cows have been in.
And Guy isn't the only one in the area seeing positive results from the wind and rain minerals. Kevin St. Clair is also seeing the benefits of a consistent mineral intake program after only 1 year.
The things that the wind and rain mineral has helped is just astronomical. From my calf vigor is improved. I've noticed that this year. The calf, just a couple hours old, and he's up and he's gone. And calf vigor, the milk production on these cows is better. So that in turn helps your calves. You have a healthier calf right off the bat. Colostrum's a whole lot better in a cow that's been on a consistent mineral. I'm a little over a year into it. I started in December of last year, started with the wind and rain and the super block tub. Right now, as of today, I'm 48 days into my calving season this year, and I have 90% of my calves on the ground today.
As we can see by looking at these calves on the ground, majority of all these cows have already had these calves, and you can tell they're a really uniform set, so they've all come pretty close together. And so from a management perspective and managing the feed program, he's done a really good job of implementing the program and managing it so it's successful.
Kevin says despite the challenging terrain, making sure his cattle get the proper mineral nutrition, no matter if they are in a corral or on top of a mountain, is a top priority.
We cover a little bit of all kinds of country. We go from low bottom rolling hill country to big rock bluff high country up on the forest. Wind and rain mineral works really good. I feed the loose just because of logistics. It's hard for me in some of this country to get the big tub up to places so I can haul a 50-pound sack on my mule and go put it where I need to.
Dr. Sanders says cattlemen don't have to wait until they see the herd's conception rates to know if a mineral program is working. He says you can tell by a change in the appearance of the cattle.
One of the first things I really recognize in cattle is just hair coat a lot of times, and hoof quality, and you can just kind of see a better health aspect of that whole cow from how she looks. And I don't think it's anything different than what we see in human health, where we talk about wellness, and that's really what we're talking about with these cattle. Is we're just talking about wellness of these cattle, making them healthier. And if you have healthy cattle, then you're going to have better performance in those calves.
True to its name, Purina's wind and rain mineral resists the harsh weather elements, which ensures it's always available to the cattle for consumption. And that is especially important in this part of the country, where weather conditions are extreme.
For the wind, that's the biggest thing in Arizona. In the springtime here, it's the only time real estate moves, and it goes from your land to the neighbor's land. But the wind and rain, it stays put. There'll be big old dirt storms and dust devils, but you go to the tub, it's still there.
A lot of times, it's going to stand in water, and so having those coatings, making them more resistant to water, makes that mineral still stay really consistent. The salt doesn't drain out of it, doesn't lose its color, and so it's still going to have all the nutrients in it that we had before.
In addition to reproductive health, Purina's wind and rain mineral also offers something unique to help combat another common problem producers face on their operations.
The wind and rain all season with the fly control, the Alticid product in it, is something that more and more ranchers are more interested in. I've had a lot of folks asking me about it, and I think it's very important out here. Flies can be a significant problem.
By far, it is the most effective product to control flies day in and day out. It's a more palatable product. The cattle eat it more consistently every day. There's some nice research on that to back that up, and so it has been the most effective in my experience all over the country where I've made those recommendations and consulted with other producers.
Guy sees firsthand the benefits of using a mineral with the fly control. He says it not only helps reduce the amount of flies, but it also eliminates the time he would have to spend administering a fly control.
Last year was the first year I ever used a fly control mineral, and I noticed a considerably decrease in my fly population around here. I still had some flies, but not near like it's been in years past. The benefit of using the mineral fly control in your mineral is you don't have to gather your cows, and you know, when flies are bad in this country, it's already 105 degrees, and it's hard to get your cows in the corral. There's a lot of stress. You know, run them up and down a lane, or put them in a little corral so you can spray 10 or 12 at a time. This, they get a constant intake of fly control.
Purina Animal Nutrition spends a lot of time and resources on research to ensure that the products their customers have come to rely on are the best available.
When we come out with a product, the guys in St. Louis have done probably the most thorough job looking at a product and how to manage that product and the things that we need to look for in the management side. So when we come out, we have a breadth of knowledge from a management side, a performance side, on how to implement those programs to make them successful.
Being with the company for almost 20 years now, it is very comforting to know that I have an entire team of research PhDs, consultants, process engineers that are behind me and the products, so that when I have a product that I want to help a cattleman, you know, try out or utilize, I know it's going to work, it's going to be efficacious, cattle are going to eat it.
I'm a believer in Purina products, and I have recommended it to my neighbors.
Reporting from Southeast Arizona, I'm Matt Fleck for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
For more information on Purina Animal Nutrition or their line of products, including Wind and Rain minerals, just log on to our website at cattlemantocattleman.org. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
No storm is too powerful for new Purina Wind and Rain Storm Minerals, formulated with ultimate weather resistance. That means more minerals in the feeder and available to your cattle. Wind and Rain Storm Minerals provide more consistent intake and balanced mineral nutrition to optimize herd health and breedback rates. See the difference at your local Purina dealer or visit cattlenutrition.com. Wind and Rain Storm Minerals, another way Purina is building better cattle.
Hi there, I'm Joey.
And I'm Rory, and welcome to our farm outside Nashville, Tennessee. When we go to work, whether it's on tour or here at home, we wear the West.
That's right. Whether it's that perfect snap shirt or that perfect pair of boots, when you wear Roper, you wear the West.
Learn more about us, Joey and Rory, and about Roper Western Wear at eroper.com.
Telling the truth and being real, and feeding my family a home-cooked meal. That's important to me. That's important to me. And planting the garden and watching it grow.
Welcome back. The current historic drought is causing cattlemen to scramble to find water, feed, and other essentials for their herds. But some ranchers are finding a sustained nutrition program is helping relieve some of the uncertainties brought on by this crisis. Cattleman to Cattleman reporter Brad Bulla has more from West Texas.
We're one of the oldest registered Angus breeders there are in the country. Certainly not the oldest, but one of them. And this unique environment creates interesting cattle, makes you have very environmental friendly cattle or they won't survive here. And this year certainly been proof of that. We've been a very disciplined breeder. We always just keep what we think is a very top end cattle. Just very disciplined of what we do Any females that were open are no longer on the premises.
One of the most unique things about Bradley 3 Ranch is that they're a purebred operation that is developed their cattle on range conditions, not in smaller pastures, which is typical to purebred operations east of here. But the cattle are actually out in the pastures, and it's more of a challenge to run a purebred operation in this type of situation because your forage is constantly changing, and so we're typically battling that the quality of the forage and the quantity of the forage and the time of the year. Rainfall is also extremely important to this part of the world because we don't get very much of it.
When it comes to rainfall, the Bradley 3 Ranch, like much of Texas, is finding itself in uncharted territory. The intensity of the drought has caught many ranchers by surprise, even those who endured the drought of the 1950s.
Actually, this is a lot worse because we've had such extreme temperatures to go with it. We actually had 99 days of straight over 100, and that 100 was from 10 to 15, 110 to 115. With a couple 3 days in there to 122 to 123. 1956 is the driest year in history for Childress County, but we still got 10.5 inches. Today we're into our 10th month and we've had 2.4 inches. And our calves were born and weaned without their backs ever getting wet.
Despite the severe drought, the Bradley's cattle are in good shape. Mary Lou and her husband James have been using Purina's Sustained Nutrition program for some time, including the AccuRation and SuperLix products. And the head start it gave their animals during the good weather is paying off now during the drought.
One of the things that the Sustained Nutrition program, especially here on the Bradley ranches, is enabling these cattle to be able to consume these products, the SuperLix product, in a fashion where we can continue to keep her in good body condition and milking for that calf, even in times where we don't have really good forage. And the benefits of that is getting her bred earlier, and that the earlier a calf is born, the heavier it's going to weigh when we wean, even if we have to early wean like we've had this year.
Purina's been a really good partner for a number of years for us, and without that, I know that this year would be almost impossible because our cows we've had on the Purina SuperLix program. We keep that out 365 days a year. Those cows have stayed in really good body condition even though we've had no moisture. They've been able to adjust and adapt to forage that's poor quality. We're starting to calve now, and these calves are very vigorous. They're hitting the ground, jumping up, nursing, doing really well, and so we're pleased with the amount of heat stress that the cows went through this summer and the type of forage. That's been really, really good.
Basically, we have more cows that are breeding back in the first 21 days, and the cows are actually lactating more as well. So we're getting a double punch from those cows from a nutritional standpoint, where not only are they breeding back early, but they're lactating more, so we're getting an increase in weaning weights anywhere from 40 to 60 pounds on those calves.
Some of the things that we've done here on the ranch to sustain ourselves through this drought is historically we don't feed much hay on the ranch, but we've had to this year in some different instances with our first calf heifers, and we've also implemented the AccuRation program into our first calf heifer program this year to improve some body score conditions prior to calving. And this program has worked very well for us.
Along with keeping up overall body condition scores, Purina's SuperLix product also helps with cattle management and labor costs.
So with the Sustained Nutrition program and the SuperLix product, we actually have better forage utilization throughout the pasture. What we've seen is we get better grazing distribution throughout these larger pastures in West Texas, and also we get grazing in areas where cattle normally won't graze on a cube program or a more conventional supplementation program. Basically, this has allowed ranchers to actually, instead of having to go out and feed all day, every day throughout the week, trying to get around to their cattle, this actually allows a guy to go out once a week, put supplement out, and know that those cattle have supplement again, 24/7, and when the cattle need it, it's there for them to consume.
Liquid feed allows us to put feed out, and we're not having to be with the cows every day, certainly not driving the truck or burning the fuel, so that's reduced our costs. Right now, with an employee sick, the labor issue is a very important issue for us, so it's allowing us to take care of our cattle and not physically be with them every day.
And now we're really sold on this liquid because in this drought, we could make them go to any corner of the ranch we want them to go to because they're going to they'll go where that syrup is.
Even with the weather challenges, the Bradley 3 Ranch is preparing for its annual bull sale in February, confident in the fundamentals of their animals and the genetics they've developed over the years.
We're in the bull selling business, and we believe very strongly that if we're going to sell bulls, we ought to be using those same bulls ourselves in that program. We need to make sure they can cover the country. Our pastures are two-section pastures. Some of them are very steep, rocky, rough, brushy kinds of pastures. Those bulls need to be able to hold up in those conditions. And if we're going to be selling those kinds of bulls, we ought to be making sure that they can do and survive in those same conditions. And so we expect a lot of our bulls.
We've got to develop the genetics that will shine whether we have good conditions or bad conditions. And we have the abilities here on the ranch to verify that in our efficient cows that can convert, and the longevity of our cattle herd that can stay with us for years, and the fertility and the reproduction and the muscling, the conversion, the relative feed intake. These are all factors that make the survival when times are tough much easier.
You know, the deal with Purina is it just helps you on the bottom line. If you can get for the feed intake, if you can move your breed up, that's real money. And I mean, I've been pretty clear with Purina from the beginning. It's about bottom line. Can you make a difference in our bottom line, whether it be saving us fuel, labor, or improve body condition on the cows? That's what it's about, and they've been able to achieve that.
A crisis like a sustained drought can mean lots of sleepless nights for cattlemen and women. But Mary Lou says talking with those in the same situation can help, and talking with her Purina representative has given her some perspective.
They'll come and just sit with you for a little bit and just help you stop for a minute and think and strategize about the nutrition for the cows. And just, you know, sometimes an outsider that can come on the property, help you see the grass for what it is. You want to think it's better than it is. You know, you want to believe that because you know you're in trouble, but sometimes they just come and shoot straight with you, and that's what you need to hear.
We do develop strong relationships, even friendships with these people. And it's been tough this year to see these people going through what they've had to do, the costs that they've had to lay out. And you feel a personal involvement, even though what I go through is nothing like what they're having to go through in this drought. But we become a partner, not just somebody that's on the phone getting the call, how much is feed this week? You know, we're actually trying to, instead of just price feed to them, is we're trying to give them the best bang for their spent dollar to get the most benefit. Because if there's ever a year that we've got to do that the most effective way we can, it's a year like this.
I'm not saying we're not in trouble, but we're sure not in serious trouble. We're going to make it. We'll do okay.
Reporting from Memphis, Texas, I'm Brad Bullitt for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
For more information about Purina's sustained nutrition products, visit our website at cattlemantocattleman.org.
You're not responsible for the weather, just the cattle. And Rangeland works as hard as you do to deliver performance, production, and profitability. Cattle need consistent nutrition. They'll get it year-round with Rangeland products from Land O'Lakes. Deliver what they need free choice in weather-resistant loose minerals and mineral and protein tubs. Get the most out of your forage. See your Land O'Lakes Co-op for products that will stand up to whatever Mother Nature throws at us. Weather's coming in. Rangeland. Consider it done.
This business can take time away and become more of your family than your actual family. My days were tough. I had a lot of doctoring, a lot of pulling. Now our days on the feed yard are happy days. It's more about looking at the cattle and enjoying what we're producing versus the alternative, which is pull and treat and bang our head against the wall. We have never wavered from Draxxin. We've seen the benefits just keep getting better and better.
Welcome back. Controlling flies, optimizing immunity, and reproductive efficiency are goals of most cattlemen, and they're issues that can be supported by focusing on nutrition. Land O'Lakes Purina Feeds is working hard to ensure cattle get proper nutrition and minerals into their diets to optimize herd health, quality, and productivity. Cattleman to Cattleman reporter Brian Baxter heads to Bloomington, Indiana to see how Purina's new Wind and Rain Storm Mineral was developed to overcome the odds.
Everybody's got a love of something. Everybody's got an interest. Everybody's got a passion. And mine is these cattle. I really enjoy it. Just trying to make the most complete animal that I can make.
Steve Quimby began raising cattle 30 years ago in southern Indiana. Herd health is very important to the Quimby Cattle Company. And when Steve noticed his herd was not performing at its peak, he called a local cattle specialist.
Really?
Known Steve for several years, and a year ago he challenged me to improve some problems that he was having with his herd.
We used to have flies really bad. This new Purina mineral I tried really helped from controlling the flies. And so, you know, like in people, we must all have the right nutrition if we're going to be healthy, and I believe the same thing's got to take place in the livestock.
Purina's Wind and Rain Storm Mineral made a difference Steve says he could see. It also helped address other issues.
It involved reproductive efficiency, herd health, feed issues, fly control, fly pressure, immunity in calves, and we designed a program to start off with to address some of those challenges, and we'll continue to tweak those as we move forward. We got cows to eat mineral. Consistency level was good. Even the calves nursing the cows on side were hitting the feeder consistently, hitting all the cows. Cows spent less time last summer standing in the pond, in the creek. Fly pressure was noticeably less, not near the foot challenges. Immune function was good.
I worked with David Newsom. He's been very good and helped me. I called him probably 2 to 3 years ago, and I've always respected David and his knowledge of the cattle industry and the nutritional aspect of it. And I called him and told him some of the problems I was having, and he said, give me a little time and I'll get it worked out. And he was very faithful about calling me back, coming visiting me. We walked through the cattle. He came up with some ideas. So I started using his product and how he wanted me to use it, and I've seen success out of it. Him and Purina people has been very good for me.
Purina's new mineral formula, Wind and Rain Storm, combines several new technologies and improves upon previous formulas to create something beneficial for both the cattle and producers. Purina's research farm in Missouri develops new products to meet customers' needs, and each time the research team starts by looking for a solution to a problem.
The thing that we tried to do with the Storm mineral is to provide a way for it to resist water, not digestion. And we're able to do that with the technology that our process research group came up with. But the next step is to identify or ensure that it is digestible, because if it gets wet and it dries out and clumps up, you got to throw it away. It's a bad thing. But if it resists the water, then your question is, well, are the cows going to be able to utilize it? So basically, we have a lot of capabilities here at our facility with our metabolism unit, where we can look at the mineral in different situations, whether it be in vitro digestion or in the cow, and we've identified and determined that we have not decreased digestion at all.
I worked with Dr. Scott in the lab. We took probably 30 or 40 different treatments, different ingredients, and different processing techniques, and then we put them in a small artificial rainforest where we sprayed water on them, put it under a heat lamp to simulate the sun to make sure it would still flow. Then we turned them over to Dr. Scott, where he did the palatability and the consumption work, as well as digestibility and nutritional availability work.
Dr. Scott and Dr. Lanter worked closely together to develop Purina's Wind and Rain Storm Mineral to meet the needs of cattlemen just like Steve Quimby.
The consumption was up quite a bit, very consistent. On my little operation, it seemed like, before if I'd put out a bag of mineral, it might last 2 weeks, it might last a week. There was really what you call no consistency. With this new mineral putting out every week for no more cows than I got, I don't know how that broke down as far as ounces, 4 to 5 ounces per head or whatever, but every week that would just be consistent right across the board. I don't feed my mineral open. I have it in a feeder that's got covers on it. From that standpoint, there was one feeder over on the back that I had that was a little open, and those cattle went ahead and ate that after it rains and everything. There was no problem. It didn't set up. It stayed very pliable, and it was very, very easy to consume.
So we've actually been able to make snack eaters out of cattle. So they walk up to a feed bunk, eat a little bit, walk away, come back later and eat some more. And with that, we've made cattle more efficient.
Really excited about the Wind and Rain Storm Mineral, as we've taken what was an industry-leading product in terms of weatherization and consistent intake and made it better. Our results in terms of fine-tuning the intake and getting closer to our 4-ounce average across multiple test herds was very intriguing. The mineral doesn't brick up as much when it got wet as the old product, and we've made substantial strides in improvement.
Purina's passion for excellent animal health, nutrition, and husbandry means products are research tested to meet or exceed expectations.
What our cattleman finds in the product that comes from our research center here is the time and effort and quality control and innovation that it takes and time it took to develop products for them. These aren't things that we can just look at someone's tag and copy it and put it out on the shelf. This is something where we spend a lot of time and effort feeding cattle, working in process, working with plants, putting in new equipment to develop new products.
It's all about passion. If we love what we do, and if we didn't love what we did, we wouldn't do a very good job of it. And we're known as the leaders or the innovators in the industry, and that's because of a variety of things. Number one, you mentioned passion. Number two, we have had a continual investment in research and development.
That dedication on Purina's research farm translates to the local level, where cattle specialists take the time to ensure your herd gets the correct mineral.
I'll ask questions, what's important to them? What feed resources are available? What's your biggest challenge? What's your biggest problem? And then we'll start with the big things first and fine tune as we move forward. And like I said, need to know what resources are available, whether they're hand feeding cows or they've got good quality hay or poor quality hay, if fly pressure is an issue, if we've had foot problems, if reproductive performance, and we really want to know what those big challenges are, and then we'll start attacking there and then fine tune and get the fine details as we move forward.
From what I want to accomplish, maybe some of the problems I had in my herd, the Purina mineral has seemed to help limit those problems, maybe correct those problems. And not saying everything's fault-free, nothing's perfect, but I think we're sure on the right track with the way we're headed.
Developing a new mineral for specific issues ensures a targeted and effective nutrition program. The experts at Land O'Lakes Purina Feed know that herd health is the most important aspect for any operation.
I think one of the biggest challenges when you're trying to figure out a new nutrition program is understanding what are your limitations, what are you trying to solve, rather than just taking something off the shelf and trying to use it in whatever way you can. It's good to know the features and attributes of products that you may be looking at and matching them up with the challenge that you have for a good solution. And that's where our salespeople and our dealers come in, because they can help our cattlemen get their hands around what are they trying to get done and how we may have some solutions to those challenges.
From a cow-calf perspective, minerals are the single most important thing we can have. Minerals are the basic building blocks to all metabolic function, and we want to optimize our forage resources, and we certainly know that if we don't have those tools right, the simplest form of supplementation, 3 to 4 ounces per cow per day, that we can't effectively utilize our greatest resource, and that's our grasses.
The Purina program has made a difference that I can see in my cattle operation as I walk through it, from the standpoint the cattle look healthier, they look more vibrant, and they're just in better condition, and I'm very, very pleased with what Purina has done for me.
It's a difference you can see. Purina's Wind and Rain Storm Mineral, with the ultimate in weather resistance and consistent consumption that reduces waste and optimizes herd health and performance, all for more profit potential for the cattlemen. Minerals that soak up water will cake up and form a hard crust, a layer that cattle won't eat. Purina's Wind and Rain Storm sheds the water and remains palatable.
I guess one of the biggest things I've learned here is you have to stick to it, because a lot of the really big advances take quite a few years. A number of the biggest ones I've worked on took 6-7 years from the time we first started and started testing them on our research farm to when we actually had a plant built and were successful selling it to our customers, was really able to give them the benefit. So it takes quite a while to develop a really game-changing product.
The one thing that we noted in some of the testimonies that we had from the cattlemen that tried the mineral is that they can tell a difference in the mineral, because when they put it out and it gets wet, they had less waste. And when cattle eat mineral consistently, they look better and they look different. It's really a difference you can see.
I'm not going to say Purina is the only mineral. I'm not going to say they're the best mineral. But for my operation, it flat works. And so I would advise it for anyone.
Reporting from the Quimby Cattle Company in Bloomington, Indiana, I'm Brian Baxter for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
Purina's Wind and Rain Storm Mineral is designed to put more of your mineral dollars to work in the cow, resulting in optimal herd health and reproduction for more profit potential. Purina's Wind and Rain Storm Mineral is available in specific regions and will be available nationally by early 2013. To see the difference for yourself with Wind and Rain Storm, talk to your local Purina representative to find out more, or just visit us online at cattlemantocattleman.org. We'll be right back.
No storm is too powerful for new Purina Wind and Rain Storm Minerals, formulated with ultimate weather resistance. That means more minerals in the feeder and available to your cattle. Wind and Rain Storm Minerals provide more consistent intake and balanced mineral nutrition to optimize herd health and breedback rates. See the difference at your local Purina dealer or visit cattlenutrition.com. Wind and Rain Storm Minerals, another way Purina is building better cattle.
This is yours, and so is what grows there. Not theirs or theirs, yours. You need this to fight this and this to grow more this. Because the more of this you feed them, the less this you spend on that, which leaves more of this here. Don't let them take this from you. Chaparral takes care of weeds and brush, and that's that.
Let's face it, you don't think a lot about your trailer hitch. You use it and forget it. We understand. But at B&W, we think about it. Short nights, long hauls, never-ending chores. The unthinkable. We think about it all, so you don't have to. B&W. Trusted.
Glenn's worked his ranch since he was a boy. A lifetime invested raising cattle and crops and caring for the land and producing a product his urban neighbors can enjoy and trust. Well, why does he go that extra mile? So someday someone he loves can carry it on. IMI Global Third-Party Verification can be your partner in helping you to market wisely and responsibly in this new world where people care where their food comes from. Real people. My son came back from the pasture checking cows. He'd unloaded the horses and then backed up to drop off the trailer. He set his block and then jacked up the gooseneck and texted a friend and adjusted his iPod and climbed in the cab and drove off. When without putting the tailgate down. It happens to us all. It's one of those moments like accidentally drilling a hole in the gas tank or tightening a bolt till the head breaks off, or thinking, it'll hold one more cow. Well, my Iowa friend Steve has a history of minor collisions, and it's always entertaining to ride with him. You know how some farmers of his caliber paint their company name or logo on the side of their truck? Agri-Beef or Skyview Farms. Well, Steve's vehicles are easily recognized by their damaged fenders and tailgates. I remember staring at the back of his fairly new pickup and asking, how's that new gooseneck trailer doing? And then I looked closer, and the tailgate wasn't just buckled out like someone had tried to pull it up or down or in nor out. It was all of the above. It resembled a Tyrannosaurus Rex chew toy. Turns out, just like my son, he'd unhooked the gooseneck, forgot to drop the tailgate down, and drove off. The next day, the tailgate was still down, but he jumped in the cab, glanced in the rearview mirror, and backed into the meter pole. He swore someone had moved it while he was in the shop. Last month, we pulled out of his circle driveway, and he hit a flatbed trailer that they'd used to haul their four-wheelers. I heard this screech, and I felt a bump, and I could hear something dragging in the gravel, but it was below our field of vision. It didn't seem to slow the truck any, but I was worried. I said, I think you hit something. Shouldn't we stop and check it? Whatever, he said, and drove on. This is Baxter Black from out there.
Well, that does it for this week's edition of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman. We'll see you right back here next week on RFD TV.